This is why anxiety is rising at tremendous levels worldwide. Now, in society today, a lot of what humans are seeing, because their eyes are looking at social media, TikTok, Instagram Reels, and so on, is obviously being altered by the algorithm. What is an algorithm? An algorithm is a computer system that's choosing what to show them. Now, that likes anger, it likes jealousy, envy. So it's going to show you all of that stuff. And what does the world usually do that with? A lot of celebrity jet set pictures and things that most people haven't got. Things with all around materialism. You only have to look at why, for example, your whole feed is things that aren't peaceful usually. Now, you can change that by just selecting peaceful videos to watch. So the algorithm does that. But unfortunately, you're a human, you see. And because you're going to get jolted and stop at things that have envy, jealousy, anger, your algorithm is going to sway that way. So that's what people don't see. And what people don't even know, for example, is like if you think of, for example, a lot of young people's most popular topic on social media today is all about either the gym and being strong and muscular. Why? Because people often are not happy with their body. They see the videos of the body they want. They envy that. They get annoyed at that. All these kinds of things. And then that encourages those. And then the other one is all the be a multimillionaire stuff, all this bro stuff that you see online, right? Now, the problem with all of those different things is the reality is very different, right? Because even if somebody is going to the gym for 5 years, training heavy weights all the time, if they're not an extremely low body fat percentage, they're usually, you're going to say, wow, they're in good shape, right? But it's not going to be like the pictures you see online because those are all airbrushed and specially made. So the expectation isn't the same. The same as being a billionaire, right? The Instagram posts that are all about and the people, oh, I want to be billionaire. The odds of anybody, even if they're super successful, super high IQ, all the right positions in life is like 0.0000001%. So also that's the same for when you see the female posts, which are like, I want to date a billionaire, I want to find a billionaire. The odds of finding one that's under the age of, say, 40, single, lives not far from you, is like 0 point and then 100 zeros, 1. So that's the reality of things in life. But on social media, it will imply very different. Social media will show you that obviously everyone is attractive, everybody flies on a private jet, everybody is got their dream home, and then also you've got that very just horrible thing in society where society has just gone through all the barriers that were sort of like in life. Say, for example, your friend was getting engaged. She might think, oh my gosh, my other friends aren't engaged and I know how much they want a partner. I won't say it just straight away in their face. I'll bring it into conversation lightly. No, in today's world, it's all about show it exactly. The ring straight away in the picture, the wedding straight away in a big clip that's 20 seconds. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's just highlight that. There's nothing wrong with showing a picture of your wedding ring and your wedding in a 20-second clip. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we all know from using social media is it's not just that. It's, if you look at the videos, it's the people posting the one that's going to get the most views, the biggest diamond ring, the one that's got the big castle for the wedding, the most views. And then the same with all this gender reveal stuff, a thing which families would have shared amongst themselves and said like, oh, should we tell our parents? Should we whatever? Or they wouldn't have even known, of course, in the past. And now it's like, I want the loudest blue fireworks I can get, the loudest pink fireworks I can get. Now, I understand that people enjoy that and everything, but would they enjoy that if there was no camera? People wouldn't even go to the holiday destinations they go to if there was no camera. They choose them for the picture. They only go to the restaurant because they saw it at a view that can be photographed and they saw the view on TikTok, right? All of it is for the camera. Everything is for other people's approval. You see expensive car go down the street today, 9 times out of 10, it's financed through and through, and the guy can barely even make the payments. In the past, it wasn't that way. Now it's like that because materialism has become like a god. People are like, oh my God, if I had that bag, I'd be happy forever. That is just absolutely gone wild. Now, the problem is we now have the next level of social media extreme where people want to look like the filter. So they then have the cosmetic surgery to look like the filter. Now, here it gets really wild. When more people are starting to have the cosmetic surgery of the filter, now the ones who haven't got it feel left out. That's now become the norm, right? So now they feel they have to do it to be normal, even though they were the normal, because the normal changes. The same as if, for example, in a future AI world, which I think is coming, humans have better lives living with in a virtual reality sort of simulation, then this current world will be boring. And people will say, yeah, but I was just working a 9 to 5 that was boring. Now, when I put the headset on, I'm like king of the world. So I want to live in there with my family. Now the outside world becomes bland, right? And the problem is with society, with social media, people are more excited for the likes on social media than they are the bag. The bag, no one sees it. I hear young people often say to me, they're like, yeah, but it doesn't really count if no one sees it. Like, who cares? It's just like, I like the bag, but no one sees it. Yes. So you're taking a physical object in the real world and it's having more value in the digital world. So you're already living more in the digital than the real. Now then you have so that's with the cosmetic surgery to look like the filters. Now you have the next level again above that, where people are, their digital persona means more to them than the reality. I've seen people say like, oh yeah, but I look really great in pictures. That's what counts. No, reality counts because we live in that, but not now. Now people care often more than the digital because they get more opportunity from the digital. If you look good in reality, but the digital rewards better, you get more likes, you get paid for likes, you get more seen in the digital world, you get more dates. They care more about what they look like digital than real. Now, the next level, because people are going to locations to get photographed, that means that locations in the world which have lots of Instagram places to take photos, people flock to and want to go there. Whereas places that are maybe a slightly older population and a bit more quieter, nobody wants to go there. But in there, you're actually seeing the real world more now. So now people are going to start escaping to that world because they want more of what the old, authentic, real feels like to them, right? Now, with all that going on, what then happens? So you have people chasing those likes in all those different forms. Then there's people who choose, hey, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be all over social media, right? People respect that in the real world, that privacy, but it doesn't reward you in the digital world, okay? So then they start thinking, shit, I need to go online. So then the person who's more grounded, whereas the person who's not and like screams and shouts and posts every million thing they can think of, gets thousands of likes and then that gets rewarded in the digital world, whereas the calm, quieter person doesn't. So what then happens? Society then becomes more moving that way, and that's why you see that. The same as with the dating app. The dating app does not work in your favor. Unless you are going to spend ages editing all the pictures, getting everything right, and meticulously getting it down to an absolute like art, only then will you unlock the algorithm to have a strong flow of dates where it's easy, right? Now, it's obviously different between male and female. But the problem is a large number of users, and when I say large, the majority of the users for the dating app are slaves to the algorithm, swiping all day in hope that one person says hi and then ghosts them, right? And yes, people get dates. Yes, it gives people just enough, but they're slaves, they're starving, and they're waiting just for a tiny drip of attention. And then hopefully they will get noticed. That is how that works. So then what does society do again? Society then needs to be noticed more. It will go for the loudest, the flashiest, the cosmetic to get there, right? Now, that doesn't mean all of that. You can be attractive with no cosmetic surgery, a good bio, and you will get noticed. But you can also do all of that and get not noticed. So therefore, the algorithm is controlling. The algorithm is dictating. Now, what does that do to anxiety? Oh my God, I'm not noticed. I'm never going to find a partner. Oh my God, no one cares about me unless I'm famous and rich. And then everyone chases. And do you know what's even worse than that? The influencers they follow today are gone next year. The person with millions of followers next year, because it was just all on hype and being noticed, gone next year. And then people think, oh my God, I want to be like them. But then if you saw them next year, you don't. Think of all the influencers that you saw online that just made some funny jokes or funny reels, gone, because there's no substance. And so you're seeing a lot of hype, fast. Oh my God, look at my life. Look at me going to this hotel, la, 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 la. And then disappeared, gone. So people are then chasing, and they don't understand. I see people come on calls, literally this. I've got 4 million followers. I am an influencer. I fly here, 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 and here. And then I say, how's it doing paying the bills? I've got debts. I've got credit card debt. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then I see them in 6 months' time. They moved back in with their parents and they lost their page, right? I see people all the time doing these stupid trading courses for crypto. Young guys, oh yeah, I'm going to be a trader. They're living with their parents. They're in their 30s. Nothing wrong with that, but they are convinced that they're going to become a crypto trader expert, right? Absolute disaster, total disaster. Same as the gym. I go in the gym these days, people aren't even lifting weights, they're not working out hard, they're taking pictures, they've got tripods around, they don't push that hard. When I speak to them, they ask me, hey, do you know what supplement I should take? Should I take a steroids? No hard work ethic. Yes, there is. That exists too. But just have a look around how much is focused on the selfie, how much is focused on the tripod and getting the right video, how much is focused on that. If it was up to me, I'd ban tripods in the gym, I'd ban phones in the gym. I would leave it all just the free weights and then treadmills, cardio equipment, and I would leave it as a place to go and train so that it's healthy for training. Now the world does not operate like that. The same as I teach people who come into me and they say, how should I find a partner? How should I find a partner? Because that's part of normal life, finding a partner. I say you need to practice talking to people and building your social skills. Dating apps, it brings you into your phone, it locks you in, it brings you inwards, it makes you stay at home just scrolling. You need to go out and talk to people and build your social skills. People are just doing funny texts and funny emojis and jokes. They need to build their social skills. I am saying this stuff all the time. And if you were in my job, you would see it 10 times worse than it is, right? Most people say to me things like, oh, Rob, I think you're overacting. It's not really that bad. People are just having fun. They're just doing that. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But you go and see how much they're unhappy about that. You go and see what their dating scrolling is like. You go and see what their TikTok usage is like. You go and see who their heroes are. And you will see some scary stuff, right? Because if your hero is just cosmetic surgery, new bag, new car, and that's the substance, what do you think your life is looking for? No culture, no spending time with animals and nature and all of that. It drives that all down and puts all your focus on going for that, right? Think about it. When are you happy? You are happy socializing. You are happy being with animals, being outside, working on a project hard, achieving things, doing things. People think end goal is like being super fit, just sitting in a cafe fit and my body looks great with likes. Okay, you've got all of that now. What happens? You walk about your day. I mean, just think about this, right? What's your one goal on earth? Oh, I want to have big arms. Think about how crap that is. Oh, I want to have a big ass. Think about how just junk that is. It's unbelievable, right? But people don't realize. People will go for surgery to get a giant ass, even at the risk of dying for more likes. Just think about how crazy that is. And we see this on calls all the time. Hi, Rob, I'm getting nose job this weekend. Hi, Rob, I'm going to get fillers done this weekend. Why do you need... There's nothing wrong with a bit of that in the modern culture, I understand. But when they're doing it and they then follow up with, but I hate myself, I hate my nose is horrible, I can't stop thinking about it, it's a disaster. And because then the culture is encouraging it, they're chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing it, right? And it becomes a total disaster. And if society accepts something, then society follows it. And if society doesn't accept something, society tends to not follow it. If you say to most girls, oh, a guy is now going to spend ages taking selfies, loads of photos posing in the mirror, most of them will go, oh, that's horrible, I hate that, right? But it's socially accepted with women and not socially accepted with men. But then it became it wasn't socially accepted with women originally. A lot of women didn't like it and said, no, it's too over the top, it's vanity. Go back in the past, they would have said, that's terrible. You shouldn't look in the mirror more than a few minutes, otherwise it's completely over the top. And then with men, it's the same. Now with all the gym selfies, it's awful. All the pictures in the mirror, all the six-pack photos with all the light and the posed mouth men doing. Men and women both in the same trap, right? But women won't like it when men do it in one way. Men won't like it how women do it. Then what happens? This is the next point before people jump on me and say, how can you say that? It's just one thing for women. I'm not saying it's one thing for women. I'm saying it's for both. But each sex has a different view of the other one's interpretation of it. Now, the next problem is this. Because of all that going on becomes like a battle, then what you have between the sexes is then what these stupid alpha bro types have then done, which is lock in, work, you don't need a woman. So then people aren't even socializing and they're working all day and they're not actually getting out of the so-called matrix they believe in. And then the women are doing the same, which is you don't need a man, be an independent woman and that, when they actually a lot of the time want a man. And the same with the guys, they want a girlfriend, right? And the problem here is this. Yes, you want to be happy being on your own and content in your own, right? But you don't want to hate the other sex and you don't want to not have relationships and socialize with them because that's usually where the goals come from. And you don't have to have kids. You see, like Elon Musk say, everyone needs to have kids. You don't need to have kids. Just because a population collapse doesn't mean you have to have kids, right? You would like to have kids if you want them, right? And the society should move a bit more that way, absolutely, to avoid a population collapse. But the main thing is, if you don't want to have kids, okay. But society's always viewed it like you have to have kids, you have to get. There's pros and cons, right? There's absolute pros and cons. Kids brings loads of attention, loads of work, lots of money being spent on it, not as much time to be able to relax, constant peace being disrupted, constant chores and stuff like that. It's a full-time job, same as being in a relationship. Some people want that, some people don't. The argument for will be it's very rewarding. It's the happiest of my life. I wouldn't want to get rid of my kids. There's loads of studies of that. If you actually have a kid, would you want to not have the kid? And versus, and everyone's got different views. So realistically, having kids has loads of pros and cons, different personalities. It works for different, it doesn't, and vice versa. So think about all these points. Most of society overlooks them. They go along with, oh, it's just the way things are, and it's not that bad. If you were on these calls, and you saw how bad it was, trust me, it is that bad. So what you've got to do is you've got to be aware of it so that you can carve out a great life full of substance, reward, happiness, all different things that work for you in your life so that you are not enslaved by lots of these modern trappings.